All right, everyone, welcome back. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the basement, where theology meets the thoughts of life. You already know the intro. What's good, everybody? Welcome. Good night. Hopefully you can join us. And as soon as I can get this volume right here. But yeah, thank you for coming out and joining us. And yeah, so the volume over there is bleeding over into the mic. It's all good. What's up, Rayvon? What's up, Tony Beard? What's up, Khalid? Who else is on here? Kevin Valdez, what's up? I don't know how to say your name. My bad if I'm saying it wrong. But again, we welcome you to here to this podcast on Wrath and Grace. Thank you for coming out. Real quick, we just want to let y'all know that we do have a website, wrathandgrace.com, where you can go and have all these resources available to you. T-shirts, all sorts of materials you can gather from that website. So go to wrathandgrace.com. Also, we have a Facebook group page, facebook.com/group/the basement, where you can go and be a part of our community. What's up, Mistea? I see you on the comment section. I don't know if I said what's up to Rayvon. I see you. But facebook.com/group/the basement, where we ask questions proceeding to the topic and the episode, where you can actually comment and give us some feedback on some of the discussions and topics we're about to talk about. So it'd be good to hear y'all on that Facebook group page. Share and like the video. Let people know that we're on. This is Wrath and Grace, and a podcast that we do every week. And so share and like the video. Let people know. Spread the word. It'd be nice for y'all to join us and also others that are friends of yours. Lastly, we do have a Patreon page. Patreon.com/thebasement717 is something that you can consider supporting. We appreciate it. Yeah. And so that's what we do here every week. Pray for us, and we greatly appreciate your support.
Yo. So, man, tonight tonight we discuss the Will Smith and Chris Rock situation, but from a slightly different perspective. Live and direct on center stage, rocking the mic, knocking you upside your head with this truth. Nah, but there's definitely some larger issues at hand. No pun intended. And we aim to not get entangled in the wrong affairs. Again, no pun. Forget it. Just make sure that you're live in that comment section, as we're live with y'all tonight, right here in the basement, where theology meets the thoughts of life, episode 114. What do you meme? Part 1. This is the Will Smith and Chris Rock reaction. So anyway, man, every episode we go live, and I like to start off with a question. So let's get right into it. My question for the audience and my question for you, Los, and for me. I'll put it in the comment section right now.
All right.
Is it ever okay to put your hands on someone for disrespecting you or your spouse? Now, of course, we always come at this, we always come to these topics with a Christian perspective, or at least we try to.
Yeah. Try to is a good way to say it. Definitely.
Is it ever okay for you to put your hands on someone for disrespecting you or your spouse? What do you say?
Ye?
Yeah, what say ye? What do you say about that?
Yeah. So
Ray's coming straiit out the gate.
Yeah, yes it is, he says. Right.
Okay,
right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he wasted no time.
None.
And you know what? I understand that too, right? So, and we'll talk about this too, but when I saw what happened, I've been telling people that that I understand, but doesn't mean that I approve.
Okay.
You know, because, you know, somebody who disrespects your wife, it's a whole different level, you know? Even if they disrespect you, it's like, you know, whatever. But when they come at your wife, it's a whole different level, man. And so I understand the emotion he had, and I think that that is something that I resonate with in a situation like that I could do something like that actually as a man, but it's not okay.
So,
right?
As you're talking about that, do you believe if somebody would physically come up to your wife and hit her, that it's okay for you to defend your wife?
Absolutely.
So you do defend your wife to a certain point.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But you don't think that this situation right here, and we'll get into this a little bit more, but this situation would fall in that category of a time where you might have to put your hands on somebody.
You're talking about the Will Smith situation?
Where he's defending his wife.
Yeah, no, I think it was inappropriate. I thought it was wrong, right?
Okay.
Because, you know, number one, you're going into an environment where comedians, that's what they do, the host. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do, right? So if you're going into that environment already knowing that that's kind of like the setting, and you don't want people to disrespect your wife, and you're sitting in the front with your wife, you're asking for it at that point.
Okay.
So I blame nobody but him for that.
Okay, so we might as well just jump right into the topic then. So let's start stating some facts here.
Let me just say one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would even say it's a sin if you don't defend your wife if she's being attacked physically. I will call you a coward. I will call you, you know, you need to repent, bro. Like, you need to do something to protect your wife. You know, so I would say that. I will go as far as to say it's a sin.
What if someone is verbally abusing your wife? Is it still your responsibility, do you think, to protect your wife?
I would probably put my wife aside and then tell dude to cut it off or whatever, but I wouldn't put hands on dude unless he was trying to put hands on my wife.
Okay, so that's where you draw the line.
Yeah.
You draw the fist back whenever the fist is already coming at your wife, right? At that point. If
they approach my wife and I feel like they're going to do something physical to my wife or even to myself, I'm going to defend myself and my wife.
So in your case, it would be fighting words with words, fighting fists with fists.
If I feel threatened, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
absolutely.
You wouldn't fight fists with, like, you wouldn't, if someone is throwing words at your wife, you're not going to throw a fist.
No.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Okay.
No.
That's pretty
I
consistent.
would probably just leave and, you know, and encourage my wife, and it'd be hard for me to do. I'm not saying I would do that in every situation. You know what I mean? But
and of course, this is on your most Christian day that you're responding in this way.
Right.
Because if they catch you on the wrong day,
Yeah,
this stuff kind of just gets thrown away sometimes.
Right. So I'm speaking in the sense that, I have my mind on God and everything, like focused. But on a bad day, like you said, and you're mouthing off on my wife, I might have to repent afterwards.
And this, amen. And this is also
to keep it real.
And this is also you speaking from a Christian standpoint, from a pastor standpoint,
Yeah.
someone who has been matured in the faith.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just being honest. Like any of us could have that Will Smith moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know what he's going through. Apparently, he's going through a lot more than what he was in that moment. But at the end of the day, I still blame him for that.
Okay. So let's deal with the Will Smith moment. Because I agree with what you're saying. I don't want y'all to think, because y'all, this is part of podcasting. I can't just second everything that Lo says. I got to come to the table with something else. That's why when y'all see me and Lo's, we go back and forth sometimes. It's because it doesn't make any sense for me to just.
That's a real conversation too, right?
Absolutely. So let's start stating the facts of this Will Smith situation. So Will Smith, they show up to the Oscars, him and his wife. Now, Chris Rock starts throwing jokes her way. She's sitting there with the bald head, and he starts making bald jokes. At first, Will Smith is laughing at the jokes that's coming their way. Then it's almost like something switched. And in the middle of the laugh, you can see his face kind of switch, and it's like a half laugh, half, yo, what's going on right now? And you just see him get up out of his chair, walk on stage, and I think Chris Rock uttered the words, Richard?
Oh, wow.
The reason why he said Richard was because
The movie.
Right. So he was like, Richard? It's almost like he thought Will Smith was still in that role, which I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. He said, Richard? Will Smith walked up to him and just smacked the taste out of his mouth in front of everyone there. And not only in front of everyone there, but in front of everyone that is live watching it and the ones that are watching it afterwards. So this is literally the smack heard round the world.
Yeah.
And so Chris Rock does not retaliate. He doesn't even know what to do. He didn't even look like he saw it coming at all. He flinched, but it was almost like he didn't expect Will Smith to cock all the way back and pop. Like just, again, Chris got rocked. And so Will Smith, I'm sorry. And so Chris didn't know what to say. Will Smith walked back to his chair, and Chris is lost for his words. And he's like, yo, what? And Will Smith, before Chris could even go further with it, as he's figuring out his words, Will Smith starts cussing at him. Yo, keep my wife's name out of your mouth. Keep my wife's. And he starts with some explicit words, pretty much getting to the point of keep my wife's name out your mouth. Chris Rock said, I will. I don't think Chris Rock still knew what was happening up to this moment. He was stumbling for his words, and then he was like, I just got smacked by Will Smith. And then was like, okay. And then he was ready to go forward. Which, honestly, it would have took me longer to process that.
Yeah.
You could tell he's show business because he went right back into the teleprompter. Everybody was quiet. Like, what's going to happen here? Anyway, the facts of the situation are he put his hands on Chris Rock for talking about his wife. At least that's what he said. And another fact I would throw out there is the background information behind all of this. You got to know is like 2016, Chris Rock had already made some jokes against him and his wife. Like, did you know that?
No.
So back in 2016, Jada and Will were boycotting the Oscars. And Jada pretty much was saying, I'm not going to the Oscars because it's too white. And Chris Rock got on stage and pretty much said, that's like a person saying, I'm not going to this party, but they were never invited. He pretty much dissed them and was like, you weren't even invited to the Oscars. Nobody wanted you here. This is what he said about them in 2016. So this is coming off a backdrop of Chris Rock having a history of throwing jokes their way. On top of that, this is a few years straight of Will Smith catching wreck over his wife being with the young boy, August Alsina, which was another celebrity that was living in Will's home and was having an affair with his wife. This is his son's friend. Imagine your son's friend living in the home and he's having a whole affair with your wife. First of all, Jaden would not be allowed to ever have a friend in the house again.
Right.
Yo, that's crazy. And so this is going on. And apparently, I guess, I don't know, they were in an open marriage, which is what people were saying. But when I saw Will on the red table and they were asking him about the situation, he was crying. He had tears in his eyes. So I don't know if he was totally okay with having this open marriage.
I don't think, yeah.
I think he said that she wanted it. I think she came to him and said, I want other partners. If I'm right, if I heard right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how as a man you're okay with that.
I don't.
It's wild to me.
I don't know, but I do know this. And Lydia kind of is getting at it. I think this anger and aggression should have been put out on August Alsina. I don't think it should have been put out on Chris Rock.
Yeah.
I don't think the Chris Rock situation that just happened would have ever got to that level of where he felt comfortable enough to talk about Will and Jada if Will would have handled what he was supposed to handle already.
I agree with that. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot more to it, right? That instant was, I feel like it built up, right? There was things that happened before that to build up to that moment, man.
Oh, absolutely. This is definitely, you could tell it was frustration.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some part of me wondered if he was still in the role of Richard too.
And some people were saying that too.
So was mental health at play? Was history with Chris Rock at play? Was just dealing with social medias and the fact that, like, I don't know if you noticed, but they made memes of Will Smith crying when he was, like, they still use that meme with him red in the face and the red eyes. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
John went viral
earlier, yeah.
So what, that's funny? Like, people have been making a joke of his life for years now.
Yeah.
And his wife, his marriage. Again, I would even throw out there this. I heard that the joke was written by the Oscar committee or whoever's in charge of that. And Chris Rock was just reading the joke. So some part of me wonders, was this planned?
That is a thought. Me and my oldest son thought about that earlier because when you look at, sad to say, bad press is better than no press. You know what I'm saying? So, like, and bad press gets more clicks than good press.
And they were not already getting clicks because people were not.
Nobody
no one
was
even
watching the Oscars, man.
I saw a meme that said, "I wouldn't have never known the Oscars was on if this Will Smith situation didn't happen."
Their ratings tanked like crazy, so it makes sense when you think about it from a business aspect, right? So I'm kind of torn. Part of me is like, yeah, it's very possible, man. But
I heard that Chris Rock's ticket sales went from like $50 to like $300 and something now.
Yeah.
And they're all sold out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do they have more to gain than to lose from this type of situation happening? Yes. Was it staged? I don't know. What's funny is when I first saw it, because I guess we could just start giving our initial reactions to this. And those of you that are watching, why don't you go ahead and tell us what your initial reactions were to this situation. Those of you that are in the comment section. If you're watching this right now, go ahead and hit the share button. Go ahead and hit the like button. We're going to continue in this conversation. What were your initial reactions? What was your initial reaction? And then start getting into what were some of your thoughts as time went by.
Yeah. My first impression was shock, embarrassment.
Well, let's start to unpack that a little bit.
Yeah.
Shock first.
Yeah.
Embarrassed next. Now where are you at?
Yeah, so shock because this was a grown man going up to another grown man, slapping a grown man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather get punched than to get slapped.
I think Shannon Sharp did a good point of pointing that out.
Right.
He did a good job of pointing that out.
I love this take on it, right? So punch me, don't slap me. You know what I'm saying? Like slapping another man is a whole different level of disrespect.
Absolutely.
It's just one of those things you don't do. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was shocked. And then I was also shocked at Chris Rock's reaction to it. Like how he kept his composure.
Or did he get smacked so hard he couldn't even think straight?
I just think,
I don't know if he was thinking straight in that moment because he got smacked.
He did.
Like the smackdown.
Yeah, right. But I think the shock for him, too, it was just like, I can't believe this just happened. So.
Did you see the form?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Will Smith's form was perfectly executed.
That joint was crazy, man.
It looked like if you ever watched like the smacking competitions.
Yeah. Slap fest and all that, right? Yeah. But it was definitely a shock to me just because as a man, I'm like, I don't know what I would do in a situation where I got slapped like that. Like, I wouldn't be a better man than Chris Rock at that point, to be honest.
Or if you're Chris Rock, do you actually try to fight Will Smith?
I think for me, like
this is Pookie we're talking about.
Right.
This is Pookie. Those of you that are seasoned in age, advanced in years, you remember New Jack City.
Right. But there is something called a switch in your head that happens, like, and my sister-in-law attested this, like Evie, you know, she was crazy. There's a switch that could happen when you get completely irrational. You know what I mean? That's me. That would have happened to me. I don't care if it was...
Well, there's fight or flight. In this case, fight or flight, right? Yours, obviously, you're saying would be fight. Chris it looked a little bit more like he was in the flight.
Yeah. I'll probably get completely irrational, to be honest. God forbid I ever be in that situation. I don't want to be in that situation, but I'm just being completely honest as a fallen person who's being redeemed. I would hope that God doesn't put me in that situation. It would have to be the grace of God for me not to respond, to be honest.
Tony Beard said, good thing no one insulted Jada after Will Smith did the Ali movie. Yo, that's a big fact right there. Because if this is what he did after the Venus and Serena movie, the King Richard movie.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Right. Imagine what that would have looked like if you would have got him after Ali. But you know what, though? For a few years there, nobody was messing with Will Smith because we saw him get tough when he did the Ali movie. I think Hitch made him look soft again when he did Hitch.
Right. So that's my initial reaction.
Okay.
So then I was embarrassed because it was very inappropriate.
Okay.
You know,
yeah.
Like I thought it was embarrassing. I felt a sense of embarrassment for Will Smith. He embarrassed himself, his family. They were already embarrassed due to previous like situations in their marriage or whatever, but I did feel embarrassed for him.
I feel embarrassed for him.
Yeah.
I will say this. Like, after he smacked him and he went up, because this was supposed to be the big night. Will Smith finally wins an Oscar. I'm just talking about Will Smith. I'm not talking about Questlove that won. I'm not talking about, like, Will Smith won his first Oscar. Did you see Denzel's face?
Yeah.
Denzel looked like the older black dude that's looking at the young brothers fighting. You ever see a scene like that where the older black man is watching the young guys fight and he's like, that's what they want y'all to do. That's what it looked like. Denzel's looking at them and going, nah, I didn't do what I did all these years for y'all to be doing this.
Right.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, where is it at? He said a statement. He said, where is it at? He said, where is it at? I just had the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar quote because that joint was real. He said, with a single petulant blow, he advocated violence, diminished women, insulted the entertainment industry and perpetuated stereotypes about the black community.
Yeah, that's sad.
See, that's what we're dealing with in light of all of this. Is there's larger issues at play here. This is bigger than Will Smith and bigger than Chris Rock.
Yeah.
This was the first time that the Oscars was done by an all-black staff. Did you know that?
No.
They were making history with this Oscars. When was the
Sad.
first time? Like, you think of the Oscars and you automatically think white, right? Historically, black people haven't even been winning Oscars like that.
That's even, yeah, it just makes it worse. It really does.
It multiplies. It like all the way. It just makes everything worse. So when you're thinking about this, like, there's bigger issues at play. Now you have people that are laughing at the stereotypes that have been in play. I saw a status, and I mean, I could be just like blanket statement right now. Anyway, I won't go that way. I won't even say that because that could be divisive. But I don't like the stereotype that's at play here.
Yeah, it's like what Garrett said. It's like the hood parents who start fighting at the school recital.
Very embarrassing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like
like they
inappropriate.
already think that about us.
Yeah, it's like, you know.
Now you're reinforcing the stereotype that's been there.
Yeah.
Like, I saw the status the next day that said, "Mark safe from Will Smith."
That's sad.
Man, come on.
It's gonna have cultural repercussions to it, right? And you know, it's just gonna. I think it's distracting, man. It's like, you know, we can't. Anyway, I really don't care about the Oscars anymore. I think it's a joke anyway.
Oh,
but,
yeah. There's a bigger, like we keep on saying, there's bigger issues at play.
Right,
It's not just the Oscars and
Yeah.
somebody getting smacked. It's bigger than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if that would have been it, just a smack, then that's enough, right? That's one thing. Like, if we would have heard afterwards, Chris Rock went into the backstage room, Will Smith met him there and just smacked his face, and we would have just heard rumors of it, nobody would have made a big deal. But it was the fact that it was done on a big stage, in front of a live audience for the world to see, that makes it even worse. And it does, like, at this point, does it matter if there's apology statements that's out?
No, in fact, I don't know if you saw this article, but it said that the Academy during the Oscars, when that happened, right after, asked him to leave.
Yeah.
And he refused. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't know that part. I know that they asked Chris Rock if he wanted to press charges, and Chris Rock said no.
Oscars, they asked Will Smith to leave, and he refused to leave.
Yeah, he was dancing at the after party.
Yeah. They're actually going to look into it, and they're thinking about barring him for life from the Academy.
That's why in his apology he said, "I hope that the Academy can forgive me."
Oh, here's the thing, though. It's tricky because you're talking about comedians, right? So if something doesn't happen here, if there's no consequences, what are we telling the culture? Like, you can go up and smack comedians while they're doing their lives. You know what I'm saying? Like,
let's look at the other side of that, though.
You know,
do you place any blame on Chris Rock?
No.
Isn't there a scripture, a proverb that said the lips are a fool, the lips of a fool?
Yeah.
Pretty much the lips of a fool get them into trouble.
I get it. Like, but my thing is, the one who stepped into that room and sat down with his wife front seat was Will Smith, right?
But aren't we grown here?
That's what
I'm saying. If we're grown, then you can't just say anything about somebody's wife.
True, I wouldn't. But
that's what I mean. Is like, this is Chris Rock we're talking about here. Like, he knows how far comedy can be taken. That's true, but it you know what I'm saying is, he sat down there with his wife, though, right? And so comedians, that the host will bag on people. That's what they do, whether you're a woman or a man, married or not. Does the joke become inappropriate when you're talking about a sickness?
In the comedy world, no.
Alopecia. So it's okay
in the
to
comedy world, no. That's the culture.
So
nobody's spared. Like the comedy world,
I know
they go
that,
after anybody.
but nowadays there's actually things you can say and things you can't say.
It depends. Like comedians.
So if he said that against a white woman, do you think Chris Rock would have got in trouble for that?
I think that if the white woman who attended the Oscars, knowing that that's what the comedians do, the host does, I'd have to blame the person that put themselves in that situation.
You think if he said that to Angelina Jolie and she is suffering from a sickness, that he wouldn't face any type of backlash if she wanted to?
He might. In this culture, yeah, but I go back to what comedians do. That's what they do.
But even Bill Burr, even Dave Chappelle, all of these guys talk about and say, yo, I know this can get me canceled. I'm going to say it anyway. So what I'm saying is, like, there's a reality that comedians are realizing, like, I can't say this without backlash, but I'm going to have to choose to say it or not say it. And then face whatever comes with that.
Right. I'm not saying it's right.
I don't think you're saying it's right.
But I think the comedy world and culture, they say and do whatever, man. That's what they do. So if I took my wife to a comedy show, you know what I'm saying, I'm asking for it. You know, if you take your wife to a club and a fight breaks out, you ask for it. You know what I'm saying? So like,
so the same way that Will Smith fed into the stereotypes of black people always fighting somebody when they get angry, do you think Chris Rock kind of feeds into the stereotype that black people dragging on black people when it comes to the jokes and the black woman hair jokes? Because there was a lot of that too. The black women were saying, yo, we're sensitive about our hair. We're tired of y'all always making jokes about our hair. Especially Chris Rock, who has a history of saying stuff about black women, and even the comedian world that's been talking about black women hair for a long, or lack of it, for a long time. Like, all I'm saying is this.
I would say don't go to the show then.
Or,
you know what I mean?
Or do we keep it fair on all sides? Because if he'd have made a gay joke, could he have gotten away with it? Or would the same sentiment be that gay person shouldn't have came to the that gay person shouldn't have came to the Oscars because they knew we were going to make that joke?
It depends who you ask. If you're asking comedians like Dave Chappelle, Joe Rogan, and all those guys, comedians should be, in their culture, comedians should be able to bust on anybody. Everybody's going to get it.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Because
it's a matter of
you're talking about
speech.
Somebody who enjoys. Yeah, I agree with all of that. I'm just saying, if he would have been talking about a white woman that was bald because of a sickness, I don't know if it would have if people would be ignoring that right now. I'm not saying anyone is ignoring him saying that about Jada. And I won't get too deep on this because there's another point that I would like to tackle, which is everyone's talking about Will Smith supposed to be protecting his wife. Isn't the other side true about that? Isn't Jada supposed to be worried about protecting her husband as well? And what I mean by that is,
while she's rolling with some other dudes.
But I'm talking about just this particular incident. Aren't there times where your wife might see you get out of pocket and be like, babe, chill?
Yeah.
And have to step in? Why was she perfectly okay? It's almost like she gave him the cue to go, because he was laughing, but she wasn't laughing. And all of a sudden, Will Smith got up and smacked Chris Rock.
Maybe she didn't know what he was going to do. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Because it happens so quick.
Yeah, that's true. Because we don't have the audio on it. There's a lot of people, and I'm only going by hearsay and what people were saying because I wasn't there. But some people were saying that she egged him on to go and handle that situation. Some people were saying she looked at him and pretty much gave him that look like, if you don't handle this, I'm about to have another affair.
Jeez.
I don't think she said that. I would be
surprised.
I don't think she said that.
I mean,
but
they're going that far already.
But might be traumatized from maybe all of this affair stuff happened because she felt like she wasn't being protected. I don't know. You don't know what people talk about behind closed doors. But it looked like Will felt prompted and pressured to go and do that. It don't look like he was trying to do that at first. It looks like something switched, and then he was like, oh wait, no, I gotta do something about this.
Yeah.
So there's that protecting him in that moment. She could have ran up and caught him.
Yeah.
Because she knows her husband better than anyone else. She would have known what he was going up there to do, right? Maybe she didn't. Maybe they don't know each other. They're in an open marriage. Who knows, right? Maybe they don't know each other like that. But what I'm saying is this. She wasn't worried about protecting him when she was going on the red table and saying what she was saying about August Alsina. And she wasn't even calling it an affair. She kept on calling it what? An entanglement. She wouldn't even say it was an affair. It was an entanglement. So was she protecting him in that moment when everyone was laughing at him and making fun of him and he was going viral, him crying? Was she protecting him when she makes all these comments about Tupac too? Because those jokes are being thrown around too. Tupac always gets thrown into the Jada conversation.
Yeah.
Because Jada's made a lot of comments about someone from her past, which just happens to be Tupac. How would you feel as a husband if your wife keeps on talking about one of her exes and that ex just happens to be Tupac? Is that protecting you?
Are you saying,
as your husband, as her husband?
Right. Are you saying all this to say that she contributed to his explosion?
Oh, absolutely. I think that she should also bear some of this too. Like, why is nobody talking about Jada?
As a man, you can only take so much.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you're talking about like intimacy and then that's being compromised, or the respect factor that's being compromised, like your manhood, you know, like, yeah, that'll build up, man.
Yeah.
That'll build up, and something built up there.
Absolutely.
That joint wasn't isolated to that.
No
way. So
like,
what you're saying makes sense.
And what Garrett is bringing up, he says both Will and Jada are actors. They know how to react in a different way at the drop of a dime. Like, they have full control of their emotions. I'm not going to say that they're just like, they can never drop the ball, because every actor has blooper reels too, right? They mess up, and I think this was a moment where his emotions got the best of him. Yeah. And I don't think it was just because of the Chris Rock joke in that moment. I think there was a lot of factors.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I bring all of that up to say, as we're handing out guilt, as we're handing out blame, are we also extending mercy towards somebody who's put in a situation like, he's not a Christian?
Actually, he's like a hardcore blasphemer, man.
Well, he's a Scientologist. Right?
So I'm just
from
saying,
what last I heard,
like somebody who's, you know, ungodly in that they're immoral, you know, like, and they're living a life that's, you know, okay, but verbatim, like, he's been very, very blasphemous, like, towards the faith. Yeah. Right. And so,
what would you expect a blasphemous person to do?
Right.
So, like, there's that reality too, where it's like the Bible tells us our job is not to judge outsiders.
Right.
Our job is to judge those that are in the church.
They do what they do, and that's what they're supposed to do.
Absolutely.
Right. So we shouldn't be surprised, even though it was shocking. Just as a man, as a, you know, image bearers, right? When you see another image bearer doing these things, it's still a shock because they bear the image of God. But you know, as a man, you know what I'm saying, like, as a man, when your wife is with somebody else or some other dudes or whatever, I don't care who you are, that's taking away a chunk of you. You know what I'm saying? It's taking away a piece of you. And so when you have these couples that are doing that and acting normal, beneath it all, bro, it's taking a part of you out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not supposed to share your wife with another dude.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not supposed to do that. Even moral unbelievers don't do that. You know what I'm saying? And so you can only take so much. And I think it's just a buildup of so many things. I even think his frustrations with not getting an Oscar before, right? Because this is his first one, right?
Because he should have won for Ali.
Right. And so that sense, that buildup of...
Or the pursuit of happiness. I mean, you can name a few.
Right. Not being good enough or not being considered. I'm pretty sure that felt very frustrating for him throughout the years, not getting that award, right? And so I think that's why Jada even responded the way she did with the academy. But so he had all this buildup and all this happening in his home and his career, even though, you know what I'm saying, he is successful. I just think that because he's not getting what he expected, and at home he's not doing what he's supposed to do, I blame him for all that. That's going to build up to that point. And I think it's to his detriment. I think it spoiled the night for him. Even the way he danced and chilled afterwards, like as if nothing happened. I don't know. It just didn't sit well with me, you know.
So we gotten past the point of like, what do you expect from a person who's a non-believer, who's a blasphemer, right? It's kind of hard to condemn. But as Christians, do you feel like you're seeing a lot of Christian people condoning, and should this convict us?
Yeah.
Like, is this when memeing goes too far? Do you believe that? Like,
I do.
What are the dangers of condoning and sharing things like this on social media as Christians?
Yeah. I say, you know, I think it's to our embarrassment that, you know, and to be honest, like people share with me memes, and I'm right away on my Facebook account, and all of you guys can attest to this, right? That people that post memes and stuff, it was just all over my Facebook page. And to be honest, like I even seen some reformed sites joking around in Arius and, you know,
a lot,
and Saint Nick and all this and that, like the backslap or whatever, like but the one verse that stuck out to me, I think I posted it, was Psalm 11:5. The Lord tests the righteous, but his soul hates the wicked and the one who loves violence. That convicted me. So I didn't repost anything, and I didn't joke around with anything. I posted that because I feel like, should this be something that we joke around with? And I'm guilty of joking around too much too, right? And I don't want to be too legalistic too, because me and Jay were talking about this earlier. I don't want to be the legalistic type where I'm snooping around trying to find everything wrong with other people when it comes to this particular situation. But me personally, when I see the memes or I've seen people sharing it on Facebook, for me, it just grieves me, especially when we say we're Christian, right? And we're telling people to love one another as image bearers, as made in the image of God. But here we are memeing about an image bearer slapping another image bearer out and completely embarrassing them in front of the public and pretty much in front of the world. Is that loving violence? Is that celebrating something or joking around about something that we shouldn't? I think Christians have gone too far. And it's just, for me, it grieves me to see that happening. I think the love of many waxing cold comes to mind. You know, like here we are joking around about something that was completely disrespectful. Someone, even Will Smith was angry. The Bible says if you're angry, it talks about being angered towards someone else, how serious that is. It's equivalent to murder in someone's heart. I don't know, man. And some people are going to probably take that as, oh, you're tripping. You're just too strict, or, you know. I'm struggling with that.
I definitely can agree with your convictions. Like for a person to just come out and say, nah, I totally disagree with what you're saying as a Christian, that would concern me if they wouldn't at least hear you out when you say those things. Because somebody texted me and said something along those lines, and I made an effort to, like, I was like, yo, I don't even text like that. Let's just talk on the phone. And we talked, and I said, yo, bro, are you offended over something I sent to him? Are you offended? And if so, why? Why are you offended? I want to hear you out. And when he explained it, I said, I get it. I get what you're saying. He pretty much said what you said, which doesn't surprise me because you've helped disciple him along the way. So it doesn't surprise me that he has that same type of thinking.
Okay.
And so I said, I hear you, bro. I do. I think this is a bigger topic at hand, though, that we're dealing with when memeing goes too far and when sharing things like this. So like here, I went and looked up a bunch of serious moments that have turned into memes. Right? We've downplayed a lot of things in recent history, and things have gone viral a lot of times. Think about this. Everyone sends around that Jordan meme of him crying. Think about the context behind that. Jordan was spilling his heart out when he was saying that stuff. He was crying. His eyes were bloodshot red. Man, they throw that Jordan meme on everything.
That's why I joked about it at Kobe Bryant's funeral. He's like, you don't want to see another one of those happening, right? So
yeah. The Will Smith meme. People are still sending around the Will Smith meme after what just happened. The one from before when he was crying on the red table, I believe that was, when she was talking about the entanglement, and he's just sitting there having to listen to his wife say she enjoyed the affair. He was crying out. People were like, yo, Will Smith is crying out for help, and nobody cares. They're just keep on sending this meme around. Even that woman and the cat yelling meme. Everyone, you remember that, like the white woman's like pointing.
Oh yeah.
Yo,
and the cat, right. I'm guilty of that one.
Everybody has sent that joint around and just laughed at it. I'm not saying anyone's wrong. I'm just saying
I thought that joint was staged, but
I'm just saying that there's been mad, like even the distracted boyfriend. Here goes a good one. Distracted boyfriend.
Oh
one.
yeah, yeah.
That joint is not funny for real.
Yeah.
He's walking with his girl and he's lusting after one that walked past him.
Yep.
How about the one with Arthur's fist? That little cartoon with Arthur's fist, and his fist is balled up. And people usually send that meme whenever they get mad at something and they just want to punch something.
I don't know about that one.
There's mad memes out there. Pretty much anytime somebody's crying, like Kim Kardashian, anything like that. Even the I'm not a biologist one. That one's the newest one, right? Outside of the Will Smith. What is funny about someone getting on a big stage and saying, I can't tell you what a female is? I'm saying all of this because, and I have more, but I really went in because when I was having this conversation with him, I wanted him to see it's bigger than the Will Smith joint right now. You may be convicted over the Will Smith joint right now, but this is a bigger issue here. A lot of serious moments have been turned into memes. And you got to ask yourself, as Christians, when does memeing go too far? We've kind of discussed this on other episodes where we got into being careful on social media, being careful with our entertainment as Christians. What entertains us? What do we entertain, right? We've talked about this, and so I guess today we're dealing with the potential threat that it has whenever Christians are sharing stuff like this.
Yeah.
I even saw this article by Babylon B that says the highlight says Chris Rock smooths things over with Will Smith by sleeping with his wife.
Yeah. I actually showed that to Jay, and I told him, this is how bad our culture is, right? Because there's always some truth to sarcasm.
Yeah.
And I said, bro, I told him I wouldn't be surprised if that took place in our culture. Like, it sounds bizarre, but it's like to joke about that in a sense, or to even be sarcastic about it. Like, it's telling about, it's almost like where are the boundaries? You know what I'm saying? At this point, it's like, they're gone.
Yeah, I think this is
crazy.
I think this is a wake up moment. When we wake up, we look around and start like, yo, like this is almost like whenever, like imagine if you're an Israelite living in the Old Testament towards the end part when the prophets were running around and they were just like, yo, we look around and then there's Asherah poles everywhere. There's altars to other gods. they've been up for years, and now we're just finally, like, I'm not saying the prophets just noticed it, but imagine if you're a Jew listening to that and you start looking around and going, yo, I'm surrounded by this stuff and I've become numb to it.
Right.
It's similar to whenever Josiah and they found the law book, and it had been so many years without the law. It was like, no. We're gonna get back to what we should have been doing all along. Because all the kings were commanded to read that book.
And they reinstituted the Passover. You know what I'm saying?
All of that was
did
like
all the feasts. And,
that was their reformation.
Right. Right. They needed to remember what God had done.
Yeah.
You know, and the deliverance. And that, so remembering what God has done doesn't only mean deliverance, but you have to recall the bondage. 400 plus years, right, of being under Egypt, and why God had to deliver his people. It's like, acts like, I'm sorry, but like living cold-hearted to these situations and living like pagans, that's just going to perpetuate, you know what I'm saying, what the world is doing in the church. The church ends up being, not looking like the church anymore. That was my fear with all these memes. It's like, what are we doing? Like, we're looking just like them. We're celebrating what they're celebrating. We're not remembering. Instead, we're perpetuating like what the world does. How distinct can we be? If we're doing what they're doing, laughing about what they laugh, and I don't know, man. It's really concerning, and we're inundated with it. You know what I'm saying? And there's websites, there's groups doing it, and I've done it. You know what I'm saying? I partook with some memes that I think now were inappropriate, and it's making me rethink about being very careful about how I put myself out there as a believer. You know, I need to remain distinct from the culture. I do. I should be involved in it. I think we should be voices in it, but we should also be distinct from it.
Amen. You know what I think is most alarming is that I don't know. It's like that whole, like that quote, which is like, what happens when art imitates reality? And then you flip that and say, well, what happens whenever reality imitates art? Chris Rock didn't even know if it was King Richard or if it was the Fresh Prince walking up to him. He didn't know if that joint was Will Smith or not. Who's this walking to me right now? Is this a real moment? And I think Chris Rock's, his reaction is similar to ours. Like, I don't even know if we know it's real anymore. Like, let me say this right here. Like, the world watched Will Smith listen to his wife tell him that she had an affair. People laughed at Will. He became a meme. Whenever Tyrese Gibson had a mental breakdown online in regards to not seeing his daughter in 2 years, people laughed at him. He became a meme too. When Kanye had a mental breakdown live on TV, everyone called him crazy. He too became a meme. Yet people wonder why men don't open up about their mental health problems, right? That's the issue that's being dealt with right there. But I want to zoom out. Yes, it's true. That is a reason why men are not opening up about their mental health problems, is because they get made fun of, they get dismissed, and they get made into a meme. But there's a bigger issue here. What do all three of those things have in common? The Will Smith, the Tyrese, and the Kanye situation. Everyone looked at the situation and said, "Is this real?" Or if what am I watching right now? Is this real or is this staged? Is this just Hollywood being Hollywood, or is this a real reaction? Am I seeing a real person break down? I think we become numb to it, and we don't know whether it's art imitating life or if it's life imitating art. There is no distinction anymore. Yeah. Art is life, life is art. Is there a reality that exists where it's not real? When you're playing these movie roles, that's still real. There's a part of that that's still real. Like, if you're doing a sex scene in a movie, Yeah, you could say, yeah, this is just a movie role, but that's real.
Yeah.
Even if this is staged, that's still real that he hit him and embarrassed him in front of everybody. Like, all
Still
I'm
fed it into a stereotype.
still fed it, and there's
It
real
helped nobody.
there's real consequences for the everyday person too.
Yeah.
So like, I think this is alarming because I don't even know if we know what's real anymore. What's real? What's fake? Is there a difference anymore?
Yeah.
That's what's most alarming about all of this, and I can't get over that fact. You'll be made into a meme, whether it's real or not.
Yeah, sad.
So,
But it is.
any concluding thoughts on the matter?
Yeah, man.
We wanted to deal with this from a different perspective, y'all. Everyone is dealing with this situation. We wanted to deal with it from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Not that we're just coming with brand new stuff, but we did want to look at it a little bit differently. Any other thoughts, concluding?
Not really. I think, just real quick, it grieved my heart. And it grieves my heart even more when the church irresponsibly, including myself, treats these situations lightly, comedically and passively. It's like, I think we just need to get back to the reality that people are made in the image of God. There's still a sense of morality that we're held to, whether a believer or unbeliever. I was shocked, embarrassed, and unfortunately the church, well, let me say it this way, believers online, on the internet, I'd rather say that instead of the church, but yeah, believers online, I feel like have been irresponsible with this, including myself. So I think we could do a better job being more distinct. I have a sense of conviction and morality when it comes to these issues. And that doesn't mean we are stiffed and can't laugh about things, but I think we could do a better job showing our convictions and showing what God thinks about these situations. So that's all I got to say, man.
Yeah. This situation has caused me to do a lot of reflection, a lot of thinking, and a lot of evaluating of even what I laugh about and things of that nature, right? Like, it's easy to point fingers at other people, but it's way harder to point it back at yourself.
Especially when you partook in
That's like I'm part of the problem, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I have thought. So I would encourage anyone that's watching this right now to rethink some things that maybe you didn't even realize. Like, maybe you walked past some idolatry and some things that you've been numb to this whole time. Maybe you walk right past it every single day. Think about it. And if the Lord convicts, then he does. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not here to press down and shake y'all up and say, repent. Kingdom of God is at hand. I'm not on that level today, but it does make me think. After I posted that meme that I posted on Monday, because I posted a meme, and I mine was Will Smith. I said Monday morning, and then me was Chris Rock. I was like, like, that's what it feels like on a Monday. Like, every Monday morning I wake up, and John just slaps me in my face. Like, oh man, unbelievable. How did we get back to Monday again? But again, like, I looked at the bigger topic, which is, when does memeing and when does social media go too far? So anyway, this has been another episode of The Basement, where theology meets the thoughts of a life. Episode 114. What do you meme? Part 1. And shout out to What Do You Meme, the YouTube page. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He's nice.
Yeah.
He's nice. I watch a lot of his videos. This is part 1 because I feel like there's going to be many more discussions on stuff like this.
Yeah.
So this was our take on the Will Smith and Chris Rock.
Yeah. And again, our goal for this podcast is to have a regular conversation, so that regular people can think about some of the things that are out there, so and especially locally. I hope that some of y'all who are watching locally are encouraged, and we thank y'all who aren't locals for supporting us. But we do have a Patreon page, patreon.com/thebasement717. Y'all can definitely support us, not only through just finances, but also through your prayers, as we're just going through this podcast now for a pretty long time. It's pretty cool that we've been here this far. But also, we do have an app on the App Store, WG Universe, where you can actually download the app and enjoy some of the music, some of the content that we have on our website. You can get it right on your handheld devices. So WG Universe on the App Store, which is connected to the website, wrathandgrace.com. You can also go there and check out some of the material we have there. And share and like the video. Let people know what's going on here. Facebook.com/wrathandgrace. This is the podcast we run every week. And also, again, to let y'all know, we have a Facebook group page. Facebook.com/groups/thebasement. So make sure you go there, be a part of the discussion. And we like to even quote some of y'all who comment on the topic at hand. But that's it. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate y'all. Have a good night. Be safe.
God bless.
And hopefully we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
All right.